I'm Adam Collins, this is Damien Fleming, and we are Crick Buzz Centre Stage here at Trent Bridge after a very good game of cricket. Australia made a squillion, 381 for 6 to be precise, and Bangladesh fell 48 runs short of that, but it was their highest one-day score ever. It was a gallant chase, a brilliant 100 from Mushfiqur, the captain of the Test side, such a long-standing player in this team, a brilliant 100 from David Warner. We leave here feeling quite full today, don't we, Damien?
It was big. They obviously downloaded the runs app today, Bangladesh and Australia. Mushy was fantastic. You got to remember he kept as well.
Yeah.
But I thought his intent was positive straight away, wasn't it? The sweeping and the reverse sweeping of Zampa. For the Australians, it was a pretty big day because there was changes, and that was the same lineup they did for game one. Questions, Khawaja at 3, a tick. Maybe work on your calling, please, Usman. Number 6, Stoinis, fitness-wise, tick. Didn't get much of a bat, but he bowled the overs. Nathan Coulter-Nile, I thought he bowled pretty well, particularly his first spell. And Adam Zampa, still some question marks, I reckon. Nathan Lyon, I'd keep my fingers nice and ready to bowl.
In terms of the batting starting there, Khawaja's 89. I think we're going to look back at this as a bit of a turning point, aren't we? We question whether he could go through the gears batting down the list. He got a chance at number 3 today ahead of Shaun Marsh. And he did. He did go through the gears. He started that final thrust when Australia went at the better part of 12 and over for the last 15.
Yeah, he was really proactive, and actually his running between the wickets was really good until that mix-up with Maxwell later on that led to Maxie getting run out, which didn't make him a favourite with us because Maxwell got 32 off 10. He was going to get 100 off 23 balls.
It felt that way, didn't it?
Is that actually possible? 24 balls. But the confidence for Khawaja, this is your role, we're backing you, just show us something, and he certainly did. And we know his best is good enough, it's international standard, so I think that's one of the big pluses. And the Warner show continues on.
I didn't ask you about Warner yet, but I thought it was worth framing up Warner around the idea that he was actually scratchy early, a lot of inside edges. The opening bowlers from Bangladesh, the skipper Murtaza, Mustafiza as well, the left arm quick, they had Warner reaching a little bit, but once he got through the first 10 with Aaron Finch, the perfect person to guide him into safe territory, he really did explode at the back end.
Yeah, it's a bit like Laurel and Hardy, isn't it? I don't know who's Laurel and who's Hardy out of the group, but Aaron Finch, I think, enjoys batting with Dave Warner. He knows he's a guy that can score hundreds and deep. That allows Finch to play shots, and vice versa. Warner looks like he's got the role of being an accumulator in the first 10 overs. Let Finch do what he does, being a boundary hitter.
Yeah.
But you forget how good a player he is when he gets going, though. And big, I think now he's got the 2 highest score by Australians in a World Cup. Good experience, big runs. So, you're coming back after a 12-month gap out of international cricket, and he's now the highest run scorer in the World Cup at the moment.
Yeah, highest run scorer in the World Cup, finished with 166. I mean, we almost gloss over that sometimes now in the modern game, but 166 is one of the highest scores in the history of one-day cricket for Australia, only 19 behind Shane Watson's 185 not out. He probably should have got that today. Had he batted all the way through to the end, he would have made well in excess of 200. Then Glenn Maxwell, every time he's asked to play this role in the World Cup, with the exception of the West Indies game when he was in early, he's found a way to put the foot down immediately, hit some outrageous shots, and he's just seeing it so well.
32 off 10. Yeah. 32 off 10, and he was hitting them to all parts as well. So he's the type of batsman that when the bowlers are going, well, where can I go? Can I go wide Yorkers? No, he can hit me inside out over cover. Okay, I'll cramp him for room, and then he can whip it over square leg for 6. So much power. For Australia, he is like the icing on the cake, isn't he? If we lose early wickets, okay, you can just stay down at number 5 or 6, and we know that when he gets in, he can score quickly and big. He's a real X factor for Australia, and I think his consistency in the last 12 months is what's really impressed me. Maybe the captaincy at the Melbourne Stars has helped him click into that maturity, but certainly it's a bonus for the Australians.
And with the ball, they did have to fight back at the end. It may not look like it when you see the score sheet after the fact, but for just the briefest moment when Mahmudullah hitting gigantic sixes alongside Mushfiq, just for a moment they had to fight back, and it's to the credit of bowlers like Marcus Stoinis and Nathan Coulter-Nile that they held their nerve, because it's been the auxiliary, it's been the support Australian attack, if you like, in addition to Cummins and Stark, who kind of speak for themselves, where there have been question marks, as you said at the start.
Yeah, definitely. I thought Coulter-Nile's first 3 overs were really good there, and he looked like he was getting in the right areas. You know, the change of pace bouncer was working. So I was pleased he finished up with a couple of wickets. He went for a less than a run of ball. And Stoinis will get better with his bowling. You know, I don't think he's going to be the most economical bowler, but he's there. I'll put my hand up. I'll bowl the closing overs with Stark, and that's pretty good from your number 6 batsman there. So for the Australians, you know, they can score big now. That's a message out to England, India and New Zealand. And for world cricket, Bangladesh, they're batting. Okay, if you score 350, you know, if they'd kept it to 350 today, they could have won that game. And I think Mortaza talked about that. What they lack just one more class quick, I reckon. You know, a guy that can go, like, not quite Stark's level, but, you know, a 2 for 50 guy would have stopped the Australians today.
Yeah, it would have changed everything. It ended up being Sumi Osaka, the part-time, and needed to bowl all those overs. On another day, he might have gone for 100, but today, 3 wickets. That's a whole different storyline, which we won't bore you with today. But the main takeout point, Australia top of the ladder. They play England next week in what may very well be a dead rubber as far as making the Final Four is concerned, but they are flying. Bangladesh need everything to go right from here against Pakistan, Afghanistan and India. It's unlikely they'll make it, but a day that Bangladesh can look back on in the future and say, we really took it to the big boys of Australia. Adam Collins and Damien Fleming, Cricket Buzz Centre Stage. We'll talk to you later in the week.